Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
So the 2019 Eisner nominations were announced, and I think this was like a pretty great like list of stuff that got nominated.
Oh, I did not. Somebody did a graphic novel of Anne Frank's diary. That's something I definitely want to find. That's interesting.
Oh yeah,
It's
where's
like
that?
Best adaptation from another medium. It's Anne Frank's diary, the graphic novel, Frankenstein, out in the open.
The Junji Ito Frankenstein book.
Yeah. But yeah, that is real interesting. I'll have to that is something I need to tell people I know who are teachers. That's a really interesting way. If it is a good book, I'm guessing it is. If it in the nomination for an Eisner.
Yeah, and the really kind of cool thing about it, the Eisners will break it up within brackets of best publication for kids 9 to 12 or best publication for teens 13 to 17. And the 19 to 12 age range has really great stuff like Aquahorn Cove by Katie O'Neill, she did the Tea Dragon Society and a bunch of other really cool kids books. Cardboard Kingdom is pretty cool. Be Prepared by Vera Broskow I think was super fun. And then all 3 volumes of The Divided Earth by Faith Erin Hicks is just really good. And then it just kind of continues. The publication for teens has All Summer Long and Princess and the Dressmaker, which were all great. The new series list of The Bitterroot, Crowded, Gideon Falls, Isola, Maneaters, and Skyward is pretty good. I'm pretty behind on Isola, but I liked what I read of that. And Bitterroot is just really fun, and Maneaters is great.
Yeah, I'm just looking through now, the writers and the artists, and there's King Lemire, Chip Zdarsky that we've all talked about. I think you talked about Kelly Thompson. These are all everybody here is on top of top of the game stuff.
Yeah, best writer. It's Tom King, bunch of stuff.
I do love the fact that when they put Tom King, it's Batman, Mr. Miracle, Heroes in Grace.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other. But yeah, Jeff Lemire, ton of stuff. Mark Russell, ton of stuff. Kelly Thompson, ton of stuff. Zdarsky, did a lot of really cool stuff last year, and then Alex DeCampi did that Twisted Romance book anthology that got also a bunch of awards.
It seems especially for the big two, it's the same couple of comics that are nominated in each thing. So it's basically Mr. Miracle in any category it could be named in is named, which is awesome. We praise that for forever.
Runaways made it in.
What's up?
Runaways.
Yeah, Runaways as well. I did see the book that you recommended me. Descender got Best Painter, Dustin Nguyen.
Yup.
Which I think the second one is coming out soon, right? Next month, maybe?
Ascender, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, one of the other DC books that I talked about a lot on here, I see a ton of nominations, The White Knight, and we talked about the sequel that they're doing, because that book was one that I know, when the concept was first announced, I shit on it a bit, but once I read it, I was oh, this is amazing.
The cover artist category, there's I'm really glad that Julian Tedesco, who did all the Kate Bishop Hawkeye covers, got nominated for best cover artist, because those covers were just super cool, because they were all old pulp looking comics with the catchphrases on the covers.
Yeah, and again, Mr. Miracle one got nominated, and those are all crazy trippy. I would not be mad at having a framed cover, a large, a blown up cover of Mr. Miracle, because they're so bonkers and awesome.
So not to talk about every single category that's here, but I think a really cool kind of small talk would be, discussing the best continuing series and the best limited series. So the best continuing series is Batman, Black Hammer, Age of Doom, Gasolina, Giant Days, The Immortal Hulk, and Runaways. I am currently reading 2 of these books, and 2 of the books I have as trade reads. But I am very ecstatic that Giant Days got nominated for best continuing series, and same with Runaways, because I've been singing the praises of those books for years. Giant Days for years at this point, and Runaways for at least a year and a half, and I'm very happy that they got some recognition.
Yep, and you've been talking about Immortal Hulk too.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tom King's Batman is up there, which basically is he picked up right where Snyder left off on that book. And what was the other one you said? The limited series, or was it single issue?
This was continuing.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
and
is
the other
conti-
one was limited. Batman White Knight, Eternity Girl, Exit Stage Left, The Snagglepuss Chronicles, Mr. Miracle, and X-Men Grand Design.
Yeah.
Which is just like, it's like a murder's row. It's like, you can make an argument for like Eternity Girl, you can make an argument for Snagglepuss, you can make an argument for Mr. Miracle, you can make an argument for X-Men Grand Design. I've not read White Knight yet, but people seem to like really love that book. So it's just like these are all just like, you could pick any one of them and it'd be like a good winner.
Mm-hmm. And I do like, I'm sure it's like every year. This is kind of the first time I'm really taking a look at the nominees, but it's a lot of like not the big two and like everything. Like usually, like I don't know, like you get at least one of each. It seems like in each category, but it makes me want to look at all of these smaller publications, these other ones.
Yeah, like Silver Sprocket got like a nomination for No Better Worlds for best single issue, and I really like Silver Sprocket. They did a book that I talked about a couple months ago called The Fuck Off Squad. And they had like I forget like the exact title, but it's like a super magical girl, like Bad Girls comic that I think is super fun. So like I'm glad that they got like some nominations. Like Oni Press always kind of gets like nominated for like a younger kid stuff, or like because they always produce like the Katie O'Neill stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every comic in Best New Series is all Image.
I mean, yeah, they produce like a lot of like really cool new stuff like all the time. I mean, the problem is like when you produce a new thing and then it just kind of goes under the radar. Like Gasolina was nominated for continuing series, and this is kind of the first time I've heard anyone really talk about that book.
Yeah, like it's definitely like I'm going to keep this list and like try to find as much as I can from like the categories that appeal to me, but there's definitely like this is a great way to get into like stuff that you're not used to, because that when you pick it up it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Like the best short stories I thought was like pretty fun. Like short from Mad Magazine got nominated. The Tom King Jason Faybox short from the Swamp Thing Winter Special got nominated. That was for short story. Like, and then for best single issue, like you have like Black Hammer Cthulhu Louise from Jeff Lemire and Emily Lanock, who like I think has like been really cool. Like Emily Lanock did Platona what was it, like last year with Jeff Lemire, and that was like pretty cool. And like the Chip Zdarsky Spider-Man issue, the Peter Parker one, like I want to say that's the one. Yeah, it's like the issue about people talking about their experience with Spider-Man, and it's just so good. Like that run is just kind of amazing. And I think he just kind of like Chip Zdarsky. I don't think it's like enough credit for like writing a really great Peter Parker.
Oh, you've talked about it. Like everything you've said about it makes me want to like jump on that. I'm just like so hesitant with Marvel, so no.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely interesting. I would suggest anybody who's trying to get into any of the books, like this is a perfect list. Like
Femme Mythique for best anthology. I've been meaning to pick that up for a while now. I'm just like slowly going through here. Like the Vision hardcover reprint, I heard that was like a pretty cool reprint. Unfortunately, none of our stuff got nominated, but like Tokyo Taraba Girls, from Kodansha, got a nomination. That book is super rad. Dead Demons, Dead Destruction, is being done by Viz Media, and that got a nomination for best international material from Asia, and that's from the Goodnight Poon Poon, who's like basically that was the other like manga book that got nominated like every year, and now that book's over, and then that guy started doing Dead Demons, and now that's just going to get nominated for every year. But yeah, it's like if you want like just a great list of great books, just print this out and just go look.
It's like watching. It's like going and watching like Best Picture nominations.
Yeah, I had a customer who would just come in like. He would come up like every 6 months, but like when the Eisner Awards came out, he would always just like kind of like pick up everything that was on there.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's not a bad idea. And there's definitely been like Eric Fedorchak recommended like the character Hitman, and for the DC character, and then like I got to the one book, I'm like, oh my god, this book is so amazing. He's like, did you not know that book won an Eisner? I was like, I had no idea. I'm glad I have the same taste as like great people.
Oh, and Umami got nominated for best digital comic. That's cool. That's like Umami's done by Ken Nomura, who did like one of my favorite books, I Kill Giants, and that's like his digital comic.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I have never really gotten into much of the digital comic verse.
Yeah, this is actually like kind of super helpful because like they also have a nomination for like web comics too. And the stuff I like is like never nominated for that, but it's always like kind of nice to see what does get nominated. Like Lavender Jack, I found out was a comic that's made here in Portland, which was like kind of cool. So I'm gonna like try and check that out.
Awesome. Well, why don't we jump to, I guess, our second news item here. So we have another casting for James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Kind of
Look at that, man.
Yeah, comic book movie TV all-star. Someone else please pronounce his last name for me. David
Let me get this.
Dasmalkian.
Yeah, David Dasmalkian.
Yeah, so he's been in Dark Knight. He was in an episode of The Flash where he played Abracadabra. He was in Ant-Man. He was in both Ant-Man movies. And now he's going to be playing the awesome Polka Dot Man. And joining Jai Courtney, Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, and I think
Joel
that's
Kinnaman.
what'd you say?
Joel Kinnaman.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's all, but we don't know.
We don't know
who
who's playing
Idris Elba is.
Ratcatcher, Peacemaker, and Killer King Shark.
Yeah, was Polka Dot Man on that short list of characters
Yes.
that people thought was real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that list is real because who else? I mean, like, who would have like faked putting Polka Dot Man on that?
Yeah. The only person we don't know is Idris Elba because they said Deadshot, but now they're saying he's not. He's playing something else.
I hope it's not King Shark.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
Well, he did play a character that was mainly prosthetics in Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah. He could do a bunch of stuff, and I just like I don't think you do anything to hide that guy's face anymore. Like I think you have to like he's the biggest name that's in this. So I just can't think. I don't know who the hell he would play. Maybe he's playing like a Bronze Tiger or something. Like
I thought it was Bronze Tiger as well.
because he's been in the Suicide Squad and he's built, but it's also kind of weird because that's a character that they've used a lot in the Arrowverse, and it's played by Michael Jai White. So
I mean, they can also just take a pre-existing character who's not black and
no, that's
cast
true.
him.
Well, I mean, I only say because like Bronze Tiger is like he's been in the animated stuff. Like he's kind of a well-known, and Idris Elba is trained in Muay Thai, I believe, because he did like a documentary thing about trying to become like a professional Muay Thai fighter like 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see him playing more of a fighter, like a hand-to-hand combat character. Especially if you've seen the newest trailers of what is it? The Fast and Furious spinoff.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw.
Where he just says, "I'm Black Superman." So I can definitely see him doing that, which is why like Deadshot would have been interesting. But he's so good at doing that physical action. I would rather see him. Maybe he's Black Spider, or I don't know. I feel like there's no way they put him in a mask because he's way too pretty, in my opinion. As everybody is now silent.
Oh, I have no idea. Because I mean, like Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher are like such deep cuts that it's like it's like unfathomable on like what I would think that he would play. Like it would be such a deep cut, I assume.
I don't remember if we talked about like that. John Cena is also rumored to be attached to this.
He could be Sportsmaster on Idris Elba. I'm like hopping over.
That would actually be awesome looking.
Sportsmaster would be really like good for Idris Elba.
Yeah. And that character is British, I think, in the books, or is he Australian?
No, I think he was British because he talked about cricket a lot.
Yeah,
but that's also an Australian thing.
Yeah, but I think that's actually a really good call. Like Sportsmaster would be really cool, and it would look so hilarious and he would fit the kind of goofiness of the other characters because he's literally like a guy running around with like a hockey stick and like a hockey mask and a bunch of other goofy crap.
God, what if he was like Kite Man?
I don't think you can have Kite Man and Polka Dot Man in the same movie.
Well, like I was thinking, like, because I was like, man, it'd be funny if he's just like, like the Condiment King or the 10-Eyed Man.
See, I feel like if they had Kite Man, it would either be played by James Gunn's brother or it would be played by Michael Rosenbaum, just to like have them in the thing since they're all buddies. Like just to like get killed immediately. Like to do Kite Man and he just like falls into like a pit of acid and dies immediately. Or something.
I'm just imagining a Deadpool 2 bit with
Are you saying that they would pull a Slipknot?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I feel like it's more like what Alan said, like the Deadpool 2, where like the entire X-Force dies. But like that's what you would do with Kite Man.
Because I don't know, like I don't think I appreciate you dunking on Slipknot. He's the master of knots.
Oh man,
He's really good at tying knots.
so
That's why he was on the Suicide Squad.
So he went to.
I'm ashamed to say that all the promo like pictures of Slipknot look very much like me.
I mean, he was like a really cool looking guy, and then you were just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He punched a
Eugene
woman in
O'Brien.
the face for no reason.
Oh man,
Well, to be fair, they put like an explosive in his neck and like just dragged him around.
He punched someone just because Jai Courtney punched someone.
well, it's not like if you should never copy whatever Captain Boomerang is doing because he's like one of the worst characters.
Well, that's
But-
exactly why Slipknot died. He like followed Boomerang's example.
Yeah, but I do love the idea that like this team is just filled with like absolute garbage. Like this is like the ultimate garbage, which is why like I think Deadshot wouldn't fit this based on this team like at all. Like I do like the idea like, oh no, this is like bottom of the barrel Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like all the C villains together.
I thought of someone that Idris Elba could play, but it's way too beneath him.
Like Nemesis or like
Dog Welder.
that'd be funny.
Oh my god, what if he's Wild Dog?
Oh, that would be funny. Oh man, there's like a ton of characters, and it's the same thing if John Cena joined this. It was like I don't know if he would join the movie to be like Army Guy again because he's Army Guy and everything. Like I feel like he'd want to be something like a little bit more interesting than that.
Yeah, and like the one army guy I want him to play is the U.S. agent.
Yeah, he would. That would actually be hilarious. And we can get to talking about that when we get through with all this news. So there's only a couple more news stories. So even though Connor is not here, so they announced that they're going to do a new Batman Superman series based around the Batman Who Laughs, creating his own Secret Six.
Wait, is that where that book is? Because I heard like the rumor that there was like going to be like a new Secret Six book.
Well,
Yeah,
and
it's not in the vein of like the previous series, or yeah. Well, Batman Who Laughs corrupted these six heroes, and they're sort of like sleeper agents causing chaos. And it's the way it was written, or the way it's been described, it's like it's sort of like a Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing, like they may not know what they're doing.
Yeah, I can read. It says like unraveling the mystery of who these Secret Six are is like the main part of the book. Comes this mystery across not just this book, but really the thing where it's not just going to be focused on this one book. It starts here, but you're going to get a situation where if you're reading the line, you might start piecing some stuff together before like bigger reveals happen. You might be like, oh, this is weird thing happening over here. I wonder if that's connected to the story there.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than their mystery of Heroes in Crisis. Am I right?
Oh my god, I am not a fan.
Hey, remember that time the DC released a 9-part series that was supposed to build up this huge mystery, and then the 6 issues didn't matter because the person who perpetrated everything just told someone what happened. So there was no reason for any kind of investigation in the first place.
Yeah.
You mean like Doomsday Clock?
Well, book has to come out for us to reveal what the mystery is.
Yes. Have there been any extra delays this week, Brian?
I don't know. I guess give me till tomorrow and I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure I get a pushback again. Like,
all right. So our next news story this is more of a I can't believe this is Major X sold out. Number 3 sells out.
Of course it did.
Like, what is happening in the world?
Because you have so I posted this thing up on Twitter like after I watched Endgame, and like no spoilers, but there are like a couple books. Like I saw some articles where people were talking about a couple books that were going up in price and going for like a lot of money on eBay because of things that were happening on that happened in Endgame, or like the idea that like Naomi, I guess, is a super hot book right now, and like the first editions of issues 1 through 4 are going for like a lot of money right now.
Oh, really?
And it's just
I have those.
Yeah, and it's just like the speculator market is just the worst thing about comics. Like one of the worst. I'm sorry, it's one of the worst because comics gay exist. It's one of the worst. And it's just people buying a book because they think that there's going to be like a first appearance of like an important character or, you know, whatever. And that's the only to the mainline audience or like collectors. It's so like I always see a book like an sells, it's like people are buying and it's like something. And speculators like this guy who is able to sell a book and make them much money.
Well, I just had to like go to eBay and see how much the was going for. Someone cover A and B for $4. Just $4.
Yeah, it's Just bigger.
I see somebody selling Naomi 1 variant, and Naomi 1 second print for $70. It has 5 bits.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's just it's
So our stupid robot left.
that's funny. Yeah, like this cover I have sold for $100. It's like why? Like because it's like you could also like look at Young Justice #1. Or Wonder Twins #1.
I guess I'm gonna. I feel bad, but I'm gonna have
And-
to
and-
list some stuff on eBay.
And it doesn't go for the same price. It's because like Naomi has like a buzz. Like I'm looking at it right now. Young Justice #1, $5, $2. It's like why? Because there is no why. Like people think that Naomi's gonna be worth something because she's a character who might be someone. There was a variant for Amazing Spider-Man where it was Superman flying through the air with like a black baby, and people were selling that book for like $30 because they thought that baby was Naomi. And then like Brian Michael Bendis comes out and is like, that's not her, but it still sells for money because that's what people think.
Wow.
To be fair, when like Walking Dead 1 came out, like I sold mine and I had like original first print.
Yeah,
Oh no, I was gonna say I just didn't feel bad about that because I had like second prints of issue 1 already and I didn't care.
Yeah, my old boss, he told me like he ordered 15 copies of Walking Dead #1, and he sold like 3 of them, and then they stuck in the back issues for years, and he didn't like sell out of all of them until like about 6 years before the show came out. But like that was still like a substantial amount of time, and now that book's worth like a ton of money.
Yeah, I sold mine for like $400.
Damn. Well, I guess I will go to eBay soon. Put all my
like I own the first appearance of Laura Kenny, but like I bought that book because I was buying that book regularly, and then she just shows up in issue 3, and then like a year later that book is like a $70 book, and now it's like $1,000 book.
Damn.
Because I also got it graded, and it ended up being like a pretty sweet grade. But I was like, like I'll probably never get rid of this because it's a book like I bought off the stand.
Yeah.
And that's probably different from like 2,000 other people, or however many are out in the open who like just bought it as fans, and then you have a bunch of people just buy it because they think it's gonna be worth money.
All right. Well, why don't we jump to our next thing, which is Spider-Verse TV series? So
it's not really a Spider-Verse. So the headline's weird. So Phil Lord and Chris Miller basically signed developmental contracts with Sony to produce shows based off of the Spider-Man universe.
That's interesting.
Cool.
So
it's all that Sony owns.
Well, yeah, but it's like, so this could be like live action stuff, it could be animated stuff, it could be on whatever services, who knows? But Phil Lord and Chris Miller are making Spider-Man content for Sony Pictures Television, and I think that's pretty rad.
It is, except that it means Amy Pascal will have a job for a little bit longer.
I mean,
Keep buying sandwiches.
she gave them contracts. If that's the case, and that's cool.
Yes.
At least she put good people in control of things.
But I will say when we get to it, apparently it has not been unnoticed that a certain scene in Endgame may be specifically directed at Sandwich Lee.
Oh.
Yes. Because there have been many. I can't remember, we were talking about it another thing, I think on the Phantom Zone Prime, that like somebody said on some podcast that a high-level executive at a company I'm signed with fell asleep during a meeting, and they just had to wait for that person. And the first time they said, they accidentally said she, and then they just kept saying they, and they had to wait for them to wake up, because if they woke them up, they would get thrown out. So, just saying. So what is this last thing you threw up here, John?
Oh, yeah, the book I really like, Giant Days, John Nelson, the writer, announced that issue 55 is going to be the last issue.
Oh, wow.
So
I don't mind, like, is it his choice, or is the book not doing well?
No, so, for people who don't know, the book of Giant Days is basically about, these 3 girls going into college, Esther, Susan, and, oh god, I forget her. There's like a third girl. I forget her name, but she's cool. And it's basically about their time in college. And so, the book starts off with their first year, and right now they're currently in their last year of college. And they're kind of planning out their post-college career. And so I was like, well, okay, so this could go one of 2 things. The book could either end with like the end of their college career, or the book could just continue with them not being at college. And I saw the writing on the wall like as of like about a year ago, as they've been planning out like basically their last year. So I was just kind of like seeing like where it was going to happen, and today he just announced that 55 is going to be the last. And I just picked up I think issue 51 comes out tomorrow, and so there's still a couple more months for the book. And I think it's gonna be like a lot of fun. But Giant Days has consistently been like in my top 5 favorite books, for like the last like 4-5 years. So seeing it end sucks, but good things can't last forever.
Yep. Well, it's better for them to end it on their terms than to just have it kind of end.
Yeah.
And you're left with a hanger. But were there any other stories anybody else want to talk about, or before we kind of jump into the big thing?
No.
All right. So we will try our best not to be really to spoil, but like kind of end game reactions. I know some of us have slightly different opinions on some things than maybe the rest of us. I'm not sure. Only because I saw your post.
I didn't even think I was being like that like controversial.
No, I don't think.
I was still like, I like this movie.
I got your points, but I also am like, I commented on the thing. I was like, oh, I guess I just like read some things differently. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, there's like a difference between like, oh, like, well, I'm like, okay, like this doesn't make sense, or this doesn't make sense, and then you come in, you're like, oh, well, this is how I read it, and then someone else coming into the same chat and be like, I thought this was masterful, you just don't like fun, and I'm like, well, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, there was like another person in there who was like really upset about a specific decision at the end, and I just like I get wanting to have it be the one way, but it doesn't make as much sense being the way they chose.
Yeah.
So
I wonder why he could have not liked the one guy getting the thing chosen for him.
So why don't we go around like just I guess initial kind of thoughts. I don't know if anybody specifically wants to start or Ryan or Alan, like, do you want to give your initial thoughts on it first?
Yeah, I don't mind giving mine first. I did enjoy the movie. I did feel like some of it was kind of like predictable, and some of the character like paths I had kind of issues with some of them. I can't. Are we getting like into spoilers, or like I'm not sure like how much we're revealing at this moment?
I don't know. What do you guys think? I was going to say we should try to avoid them, but it's up to like how deep we want to jump into this. I was kind of wanting to like just avoid them for a little bit and then more talk about our overall feelings and then kind of in general.
I mean, what we could do, like, do we have like another segment after this?
No.
We could honestly just like give plugs now and then just be like spoiler talk after.
Okay.
After all that.
I am fine with that. Is that good with everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
Al, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just do me and Al's quick plugs. So check out Smallville Chronicles. We just wrapped up season 3 and we figured out what our bonus episode is, and we're going to watch the amazingly terrible 1997 Justice League pilot.
Nice.
And Ryan, you might be joining us for that.
The one with fire and ice in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Guy Gardner.
Nice.
Yep. And then we have our other show that John is a part of and Ryan has been on, which is Legion of Tunes. And our next thing is that Van Gogh movie, correct?
Finding Vincent?
Yeah, Finding
Vincent. Yeah, Finding Vincent.
And we just watched Ryan's pick, which was
Welcome to Eltingville.
Yeah, which I read some of the comics, and it's very angry.
Yeah, it's still good, though. I enjoy it.
I don't know if I read the right thing, because like I read one thing, and I think it's like the end of it, because it ends with like the comic store getting lit on fire, and then adults. And I was like, okay, like maybe I'm not reading it from the beginning. And then when they were adults, I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. Like they're terrible human beings.
Oh, well, yeah. Surprise. Terrible teenagers grew up into be terrible adults.
Yes. And then, Al, you have another show for Los Horror Games?
Yeah, just episode 24. It was so good, so bad the first time. We had to, we talked to PS5, Days Gone, and gave our predictions on in hopes we want to see Square Enix does it.
All right.
Man, I hope it's a new Nier game.
All right, John, do you want to give your plugs?
Yeah, you can find me at John_FN_ Seiler, SEILER, where you can see me talk about my job at Faku.net, where we just So we added 20 new tags onto our site, and because of that, we have put out the call to action to our fan base to basically start tagging up or give tag suggestions to chapters that didn't have the tags beforehand. And so my job is to go through each person's like suggestion and see if it's correct or not. And I started off this morning with 1,280 suggestions. And I went through 230 chapters, and by the end of my workday, I had 1,335 chapters to go through. So, and it's growing.
Oh man, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, and you can also see me talk about how excited I am for the Sonic movie. Because I like punishment.
Oh god, you're a masochist.
I accidentally showed my niece about 7.5 years old the famous or now famous image of Sonic with
teeth for eyes.
Yeah. I feel,
you didn't even have to finish it. I knew exactly what image you were talking about.
Oh man, nightmare fuel.
God, I hope.
So why does the promo picture before the trailer came out look so much better than what it actually is? Like,
does it?
It does. It looks like
I think there are parts of that trailer that actually don't look bad. But like anytime that he's like stretching or like the teeth part like look bad. But I think that there's that part with him in the car or him like do the spin dash. I think look kind of cool. I think Jim Carrey looks cool. I think
Jim Carrey's going to save the movie.
I think that movie's going to be like dumb fun in the way that like Street Fighter the movie's dumb fun.
I don't know.
I just can't. It's just, to me, when I see it, I'm just like, how is this? And then Detective Pikachu coming out in the same.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. No, that was like, and I was talking to a friend about it too, because I was like, is it like really funny? Because I feel like people, oh my God, I should dig up that tweet. I made a tweet about people complaining about the look of the Pokemon in the trailer, and I was like, man, if you don't like this now, just wait 3 months for the Sonic movie trailer to drop. Oh my God, I gotta find that tweet.
I honestly don't get why people don't like the Pokemon look. They look awesome.
They do look awesome.
I think people I think people initially like didn't like it because it's like I never really kind of thought about it where like Pokemon having fur or texture, and I think that was a little off-putting at first, but like I think it like became super endearing like once you started seeing like, you know, Bulbasaur and like all the Pokemon interacting with the world.
Yeah, the only ones that
like,
look a little weird to me is like when they do like close-ups on like Charizard, like the skin, the ones that don't have fur or feathers,
yeah,
look a little weird. Like Mr. Mime is all, like nightmare.
Yeah, or like Ludicolo.
Oh God.
Like, and I love Ludicolo in that trailer. I think he looks a lot of fun.
I just think of I watched like for some reason I was like feeling sick a couple weeks ago, like all of Dorkly's Pokemon things, and it's like, oh, Pokemon who get like their bad evolutions, and it was that one, and it's like and then they had like Ice come in and they're like we have a border jumper and just like attack him. Oh man. But yeah, this Sonic thing is Ryan, do you have any plugs before each of the tag games fillers?
No plugs here. Just check out the Phantom Zone for updated posts.
All right. Yeah, tuned for Ryan countdown to Doomsday Clock.
Maybe that clock would be right for once.
Spoilers. All right. I guess we could just talk in general, like through it. Does anybody have anything specific that they want to talk about in it, or?
I guess like to probably like go in order. Like I really like the opening of that movie, or like the first like basically half an hour of that movie. You know, basically them going to go fight Thanos.
Yeah,
well, it opens so dark, like so heavy.
Yeah.
And I do like the idea, like I liked how heavy it was, and like how it's like I did expect there to be kind of like different time jumps. Like I didn't mind it. I enjoyed all of the kind of comic fan service that we got in it. I don't know, was there that first half? I don't know. Like I kind of loved everything. Like I can nitpick some things, but like so like at least you guys, the two of you, have said that there was things that you didn't like. Then what didn't you like in it, or what did you love in it?
Sorry.
I mean, to start off positive, like I really like the opening. I really like the 5 years later thing. I like setting up, you know, where everyone's at. You know, really like I really enjoy like all the stuff until the space heist, really, and then I think everything kind of in between with that space heist kind of just muddles the movie a lot.
So specifically, like you're talking about the the team of like the Nebula and War Machine, and then Hawkeye
Yeah.
and Black Widow. So
like them going to like all, and that's not to say like it's all bad, because I think like the Thor and Rocket going to Thor 2 the Dark World is, you know, pretty great, and I like the stuff with him and Freya. You know, and the stuff with Cap and Tony in the 70s I think is fine. But like the Nebula War Machine part just like raises like so many questions.
yeah, I know this is the part where like we kind of like you commented on the thing. It's like I get your. It's like that weird time travel thing, which I do think they do a pretty good job of addressing the issues in time travel in that one scene where Ant-Man and War Machine are basically going back and forth with the movies, and they're like, no, that is not how it works. Because time travel in this is, like I was saying in some other things, is like it's the Dragon Ball Z or Donnie Darko style time travel.
Yeah, it's linear. There's like no like changing the past. Well, I mean, changing things in the past to affect the future. It's all constant.
Yeah, and I really kind of didn't even really think about the time travel thing, really, because I was just like, well, there's just like a couple things that like just don't make sense, but you know, it's like whatever. It's a time travel movie. Some things in time travel are like a little wonky, and then like the very end where like Steve Rogers like goes back to put everything back, and then he sticks around, and I was just like, the timeline is so fucked.
Well,
Yeah, I'm like, Danny dated his like granddaughter then, because like Peggy Carter had like that agent, that Shield agent
Yes.
was like her grandma that he dated.
yeah, I brought that up. So they never, I don't think they ever dated in Winter Soldier. They just like, she was kind of put there to watch him. And I don't remember if they said it was granddaughter or niece or something.
It was her niece.
That
niece?
romantic
Okay.
subplot is like completely dropped. Like,
Yes.
and for good reason, because that was also just really dumb.
Yeah, well, it's because she's a comic book character that they had a relationship, and then it's like, oh, they don't really have chemistry, and no one wants to see him with anybody but Peggy. But that was
But
like
she'll
to
still
me,
commit treason.
yeah, to me, like the ending with him being with Peggy was just like, oh, it like happened. It was also part of them fulfilling the visions of Ultron, like from the Ultron movie. Like all of those visions came true.
I
We
mean,
got to see.
you were like probably the best person to know for that, because I literally don't remember anything from Age of
Okay.
Ultron.
Because I actually just watched like the first two the other day after I saw Endgame. So we see Tony gets shown basically the end of Infinity War, where like everyone's fucking dead. Like that's what he gets to see. Cap gets the vision where he's in the past again, and then he sees Peggy, and they're going to have the dance, and then everybody's gone, and it's just him and her. And then Thor sees basically
Ragnarok.
he sees Ragnarok happen, and Heimdall comes up to him, and he's like, "You don't get it. We're all dead. Like you can't help anything. Like we're all dead." And that's his vision. So we kind of get like the preview for Ragnarok, Infinity War, and the end of this. So the movie does like a very good job of tying everything back in. I like this stuff when they go to the first Avengers movie. Like I think Paul Rudd, like him in like with that team is great, and he's very like all his punchlines are like really funny. I like seeing the kind of lost stuff from that, like the kind of in between scenes from that first movie, and the cameos they got in this are insane. They got fucking Robert Redford, Renee Russo, Tilda Swinton to come back. I'm trying to think who else came back.
That was actually a scene I really liked.
Yeah, the Tilda Swinton one.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're just like, wait, he's supposed to be the best of us. She's just like, oh shit. My biggest thing, I was not a super fan of. I'm not in love with Professor Hulk. Like it was just weird for me the whole time.
Yeah, I had some issues with that as well. Like the Hulk loses to Thanos, and you're not going to give him like a redemption match at all. Like he just doesn't like they're not in the same scene at all.
Yeah.
Like at that point,
The only part I really liked is when they were in like the first Avengers, and he's like, "This is kind of gratuitous," and he like rips off his tank top, and is like,
go smash, yeah.
yeah."
And he throws the bike.
I also thought it was like kind of lame that they were setting up Captain Marvel to be like basically like the big character that was going to like kind of slide the scales into their favor, and then she's not there for like most of the movie, and then she shows up and she like no sells against Thanos for like one part, but then he like throws her to the side, and it's just like, okay.
He takes the Power Stone out to power himself up.
Yeah.
Well, but then like you don't. But then she's like not. It's like she's not a part of like the big fight at the end. It's
Well,
like really, it's like it's Cap, it's Thor, and it's Iron Man.
Well, it's the same thing they did in the last one with Thor. Like,
Sure,
she gets
but,
that scene.
but she's not it's like she was billed to be the
I-
Deus Ex Machina.
But I think that to me, I actually like that it was like a total fake out. That like they're like, oh, like they were selling that so hard, and it's like, no, that's not what it is. It comes
It's
down
Cap.
to the
Yeah.
two guys that we've been with us from the beginning, Cap and Iron Man.
Yeah, and I suppose.
Because
I
like,
did get very excited when he like got the hammer though. I was like, about time. And then Thor's like, I knew it. And I was
Yeah.
like, we all knew it.
but that's what like the comic things like. I again go back to like when they're in the past of the first Avengers thing. Like I loved when like they're in the elevator and you're like, it's ramping up, like, oh shit, we're gonna see that scene early, but like he can't do it because it'll fuck with time. And then
He's
he
like,
just
hell.
leaves.
Yeah. He's
I
like,
was
Hell
like,
Hydra.
oh. And the dude's face
I
is like, oh shit.
Yeah, I clapped my hands. I was like, that's deep cut. Captain Hydra, man. That was sweet.
Yeah, and like I don't know, man. Like, and I get like some like a lot of like the fan servicey stuff is like cool. I'm just like not about that life sometimes, and I felt like a lot of that middle part was just. It's like here's
It was
like a
super
clip
fan
show.
service.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
a clip show to basically like let's talk about like how great like the last 20 films have been. And I'm like that's cool, but I kind of much rather have seen like original material of characters like interacting. Like when Cap was like going to putting back everything, how kind of like cool and interesting would it have been to see at least him putting back the Soul Stone and him seeing Red Skull? Like that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, which I don't know. Like, there's some of the things that I'm like, but I also like when you're talking about the '70s thing. Like, the '70s part has like one of the shots that like, or one of the like the sweet scenes that I love the most, which is when Cap accidentally goes into the room and notices that it's Peggy's office, and then sees her on the other side of the glass, and it's just like he just wants to talk to her so bad. Like, I love that scene, and I did like the John Slattery and RDJ scene as well. Like, I love him as Howard Stark. So like I love getting to see more of it. So I don't know. Like I was just like so I have to see it again because like the first time I was just like so in awe of everything.
Yeah, I think if I rewatch it, I'll watch the middle and then I'll kind of like fast forward through the parts I'm not like a super fan of in the middle, and then I'll like because like regardless of like everything like else that kind of happens in the movie, that scene where Thanos' forces are there. And everyone's there, like, with their backs against the wall, and then all of a sudden, like, all the portals open, and like the Sanctum people and the Wakandians and the Asgardians, and like everyone shows up, and Giant Man shows up, and it's just like, and then like Avengers assemble, or like Avengers like whatever, and then everyone just rushes forward, like, and the music swells up. It's like, okay, this is like everything in this movie's been built to this point, and this moment's like really cool.
Yeah, well, that's the point of like this is the 10 years or whatever of movies is built to this point. These are all of our characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if
And,
you
like-
notice in that scene,
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that if you like notice in like the background, you see Harold the Duck with like his rifle.
Oh, really? I did not know.
Oh, I
that.
didn't even notice that.
Can I post it in the Discord chat? I'm not sure if anyone's in there, they'll see it. Spoiler in there.
Yeah, I would send it. I would post it in. Are you in the spoiler zone group?
I don't know, but I can just send it to you directly,
Yeah.
and then you can just send it to everyone else.
Yeah, and I'll add you to the spoiler zone because that's
If
interesting.
you notice, there are some like good, like deep cut Easter eggs in those portals. Like, there's some like real good ones. Let me just find this picture so I can send it over to you.
Yeah, there are some deep cuts. Like, did you notice the one kid at the funeral?
Yeah, that was the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, and it's the actual actor. Like, when I watched it, I was like, who the hell is this kid? Like, how do I not know?
Yeah, okay, I did know that because it's like they don't explain anything.
No.
And I'm just like, I guess because I also like didn't realize that the woman in the Iron Man costume was Gwyneth Paltrow for like at least like 10 minutes until she like took
What?
off her mask.
Really? He showed the daughter the helmet in the beginning of the movie.
I didn't put two and two together because at that point I was like, oh, is this like an alternate reality character like or something? And like, yeah. But then
Well,
she like
she
took off
also
her mask.
gets
I'm like, oh, hey, cool, it's Rescue.
Yeah, they had
I was
also
hoping
they had released
that they would like.
too.
Oh, sorry.
No, what were you gonna say, Ryan?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say they released the photos of like Gwyneth Paltrow and like the armor, as well as like I don't know,
I don't know. There was just like there was so many like awesome scenes of like Giant Man punching the space whale like in that battle.
Yeah.
Like I know like Cap picking up the hammer, but like him using the hammer the way he did was goddamn awesome. I'm sure like a lot of like Twitter douchebags were pissed about like their Superwoman team up thing, but I thought that was
I saw that.
yeah. Well, I thought that was
My
actually
girlfriend didn't like that.
oh, I thought it was fun. Like
The
it kind of was.
Superwoman team up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was a callback to Infinity War when it was it Black Widow? Oh god, I always forget the one character's name, the one that's from Walking
From Black
Dead.
Panther.
Yeah.
There's M'Baku, there's Okoye.
Okoye. I always forget Okoye's name, but like, yeah, they had their scene when they fought Proxima Midnight in Infinity War. So like, I kind of liked it here. I loved Spider-Man when he came back in. Like his first when he came back in, and then he's running with the gauntlet, and he's in his like, and then Captain Marvel's like, I think you have something for me, and he's just in the fetal position. Like I don't know, like all those little things. I just like it was just very exciting for me. Like everything was just like so hyped, so amped up.
Yeah, quick instant kill mode, and he just goes
Oh,
crazy.
that was a great callback too.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
besides,
Spider-Man kills a bunch of guys.
Well, they're not human,
Like
so it
that was
doesn't
like
count.
my first. I was like, oh god, Spider-Man killed a bunch of aliens.
Yeah, they're all Chitauri, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
they're
don't count.
faceless aliens. Who cares?
That's how you get away with PG-13.
no, those were the those animal things that attack Wakanda. Those weren't Chitauri. Those were like those 6-legged.
I
like
think
wolf
it's
things.
supposed to. I think it's supposed to be a mix of them because it's the whales and stuff were from the Chitauri attack.
So, Lou, I'm pretty sure you saw this in the Phantom Zone pod stuff group, chat about what Connor hosted about Scream Rant.
Oh no, what did they post?
Spider-Man acts out of character because he kills an endgame.
Oh god, no, I did
To be
not.
fair, it was the suit in auto attack mode.
Yeah, well, I guess because he like initiate, but they're not human, so it doesn't count. It's like
No, but then they just...
it's just their like stupid clickbait headline.
Yeah, and then they were talking about stuff with Scarlet Witch and Thanos.
Oh god, because I actually did like that where it's like, oh, she's like kicking the shit out of him, like, and he's just like fire them, all of them, like because it shows like how powerful she is. I do
And
think
he quoted, and he just said, "And now Spider Boy is all over me. I was not ready for today." And then Hunter chimed in with, fuck the scary woman who has a friend who can kick my ass."
Oh my god. To jump ahead to the end, because it was like one of the things we were hinting at before. Did any of you guys like? I feel like there's no way the Shield could have gone to Bucky in this world. It just doesn't.
No, it
make
went to
sense.
Falcon.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't think there's a way that it would work. Like it doesn't make sense. Like
I think so because Steve has been interacting more with Falcon than he has been with Winter Soldier these last couple of years.
so Bucky's brain isn't all together. Like we don't. He was in Wakanda for a while, but we don't really know if they've cured him.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, it's like they're enemies in the Winter Soldier, but they're like trying to work it out. In Civil War, it's like Falcon's got his back, but it's still like trying to figure out like what's going on with Bucky, and then they don't really see each other until Endgame. Endgame happens. And then everyone comes back. And it's like, if he was going to pass on the shield to anyone, it would be the Falcon.
It's also like...
I was talking to my brother about, like, remember me and my brother were talking about how, based on the course Bucky has been on since Winter Soldier, he based on the end the post-credit scene for Black Panther, you could tell he doesn't want to be a soldier anymore.
No. Yeah, when he's like, what do they call him, like White Wolf or whatever?
Yeah, and look on his eyes when they bring him the new arm.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I do think this would kind of roll into, like, what do you think is going to go forward? Because we have the...
Spider-Man.
Well, we have Spider-Man and we have Black Panther 2 are already on the horizon. Like, Spider-Man's this summer. We also have the TV shows that they announced. So there's...
there's also Black Widow.
Yeah, the Black Widow movie. Yes.
Which now looks like a period piece.
Yeah, I don't think it could have ever not been a period piece.
Yeah.
Like, I think it makes sense the most way to have it be like the Buddha.
Okay, I didn't talk about this, but I didn't see your response because I was just like, at that point, I was just like kind of exhausted.
Oh, you were done?
Do you at least agree on the point that it's very weird that like Widow and Hawkeye like weren't told about the Soul Stone?
So my response is basically like, all they knew, which Widow brings it up, is that Nebula told everybody that Thanos went there with Gamora, came back without her. And Black Widow says that. But they never, like, it's not like Thanos says directly. He just says, I gave up everything. And it's like, okay, what does that mean? So it's like, but then you see, like, they kind of cut back to them and it's like, oh, it's been a while. And they're kind of trying to work through it. It's like, I think in many ways they knew, at least to me, this is my interpretation. And both of them were kind of wanting to die, as we saw, or like didn't think they should live.
Yeah.
Because like you saw Widow in the other part, like she is like destroyed. Like,
Yes.
So I guess like to me, like it's like I think that they both went into it knowing it, and it was like whether or not.
I kind of don't get why Black Widow is so sad in that movie though.
Well, the thing is, you have to go through all the different movies, which is basically like we learn in, I think it's Ultron, that is
about her not being able to have kids.
Yeah, and we get her vision. Her vision in that is basically her training. And yeah, part of it is like she had to kill a guy, like kind of Born Identity style, and yeah, they give her a hysterectomy.
Yeah, like certainly her on the gurney, getting on her way to have it done.
Yeah, and it's why her conversation with Bruce is like kind of like, yeah, he's like, I don't think I can, and if I can, like, I don't think I should have kids. And she's like, well, that's not even like I can't have kids. And it's also like kind of her thing where she's always kind of like hinted at like how like fucked up everything is in her past, especially when she goes and meets Hawkeye in this. She's just like, we've all done things.
Sure.
And she also says like, this team was my family and they're all gone.
But like they're not all gone, because like the Hulk and Iron Man and Cap are still there. And like sure, it's like, there are people who are gone, but they're like not people who have like a very close relationship, like at least on screen, with Black Widow at any point. Like I get why Hawkeye is suicidal because he lost family and he's trying to like find himself by killing a bunch of dudes. But like I like Black Widow's like motivation for being suicidal, I just kind of don't get.
I feel like suicidal is maybe like not the best term. For Hawkeye, it kind of is. But for her,
Hawkeye
it's
totally is.
Yes. For her, it's more like she's just like, she's like, I've done all of I could, and this is the last thing I can do, and I would not, like, she won't let her friend kill himself and then, like, orphan his children and widow his wife. To her, it's like, it's more of that motivation in that scene. It's just like, yeah, the person who should die is Black Widow. Like, even though Clint is in, like, this, like, tailspin, it's like, he's still a husband and has, like, 3 kids. He should not die.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. But again, like, I do want to rewatch it, like, 10 times and, like, kind of sift through it. But I do have
10 times.
I do have to say, like, rewatching the first Avengers after seeing it, I was just like, oh, man, there's, like, so much setup that, like, pays off, even in that movie.
Like the scene with, the scene where, with Steve and Tony about basically calling him a coward.
Oh yeah, when he's like, "You're not the one to make the sacrifice play," and then Tony's like, "Only everything special about you is like from a syringe or something." Yeah, from a bottle, which pays off in the end because he gets Thor's hammer and he does the ultimate sacrifice play.
I'm Iron Man.
Yep. But yeah, to go back to like what's kind of left here is like, so we have the announcement of, so we have a Winter Soldier and Falcon TV show,
which
and
I assume that show's getting a retitle.
I don't think it. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be like
Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
yeah.
And my thought is that like the way for me, at least for me in my head, that the way that show makes sense is that like Falcon is the cap of the day. He is the shining star. He's the public figure, and Winter Soldier's doing the dirty work.
That makes sense.
Because I feel like there's like almost no way Winter Soldier could kind of like be publicly visible
in the spotlight.
Ever.
Yeah.
After kind of being in the whole Winter Soldier storyline with like T'Challa's dad. And then we have Scarlet Witch and the Vision, which I don't know how they're doing that unless we're somehow getting a Vision 2.0.
Well, didn't Suri copy like his brain right before he got kicked out of the tower in Wakanda?
I don't remember. Again, I'd have to rewatch. I have to rewatch that movie. I have to rewatch it anymore. I think you're right.
I also think like based on the name WandaVision, like it's like her, like it's Wanda's vision. So it's like it could possibly like be her, like maybe like altering things and maybe
also,
seeing him.
It could be.
Like,
there is a bunch of time that they spent from like on the run between the ending of Civil War and the beginning of Infinity War.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna like, because like the Loki show is gonna be a period piece. Like I can't imagine them doing like 2 different ones.
Well, the Loki show is like all periods piece. It's like jumping around time.
Yeah.
It's like Quantum Leap, but with Loki.
Mm-hmm.
But like that also gets back to like they've totally like there's at least 2 tangent universes they created in the movie. Because there's Loki gets the Tesseract when they go back to the first Avengers movie and bounces. That's one tangent universe. And then I don't know when, I'd have to look at their like Marvel timeline, but when does Guardians take place? It's basically all of Guardians And everything from that point forward that has to do with the Infinity Stones never happened.
The Guardian happens when Hawkeye and like when they went to their space heist. That's when Guardians happened because that's when War Machine is like waiting with
Yeah.
who was
I'm
it,
saying
Nebula?
big back,
But Steve goes back and puts everything back before.
Nebula killed herself.
Well, that's why the Gamora that we have running around now is not.
It's the
it's not
Gamora
the
from
Guardians Gamora.
2014 Gamora.
Okay.
Well, yes. So Guardians happen. Guardians 2 happens. Infinity War happens. Gamora dies. And this Gamora.
She's
that-
from another
Can't
universe.
go through any of that.
Yeah.
Oh
So
god,
that's what I'm
I've
saying,
gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's another tangent universe because, like, that Gamora is from a universe. So, there is now a universe where Thanos, Gamora, and Nebula, and all of Thanos' people just pop out of existence.
Oh god, this is why the time travel in this movie is so bad.
But that's
Yeah,
the whole-
and
that's-
also really
like,
odd
what
how
do you-
Thor just
No, I'm just saying, like, once you think about it on a further than
What's the
surface
problem with
level,
time travel?
yeah.
yeah.
But if you're
It's-
talking about Thor's hammer, Cap brings it back with him.
No, I'm talking about like how Thor just steals other Thor's hammer and just leaves. So like Thor has like no weapon now.
Yeah,
No,
right?
Cap,
Yeah.
Cap, when Cap is going to fix things, he has Mjolnir with him. So he puts
Are
it
you
back.
sure he knows that he has to return that? Because
Yes,
like he
he
just takes
100
that now.
Yeah, but then old Cap doesn't have it.
He could also just hide that somewhere. Because like I don't think Thor told him to return the hammer at any point.
I think he has to return the hammer. Otherwise,
Okay,
I don't
so-
see why he would have it with him.
because
So
he doesn't
that-
have his shield anymore. That's why he just has a hammer now.
So about the WandaVision series, according to Elizabeth Olsen, it's set in the 50s.
I don't believe
Uh,
it's like maybe like a 50s vision that or a 50s version that she like envisions like a alternate like
like a Leave
reality
It to
thing.
like a Leave It to Beaver, but with
Yeah,
like, the two of them.
I don't believe it's like the actual factual like time travel to the 50s.
It could be what is it? No More Mutant scenario where she just like wishes Vision back and she just like has a universe going on.
Yeah, well, she's done that before. Like she magically made children.
Yeah,
So
from Vision.
yeah. So
Well,
what-
it's just and on Identity Geek is saying that the show maybe could be a take on the Vision that Tom King did.
That'd be cool.
okay, I would have to read that. I haven't read it yet. I know we've talked
Like-
about it a bunch.
Like my big like hope out of like all this kind of stuff is like, you know, with like hopefully Kate Bishop shows up in the Hawkeye series. We have stature already established within Endgame.
Yeah, well, that was like I can't remember what we were talking about. Like I was talking with somebody, and it's like, yeah, they basically set up like a ton of Young Avengers.
like Vision shows up in like WandaVision maybe,
Yeah, I would
or
love
even
for them
like
to set
or
up
even like Billy and Speed.
Ooh, I would love for them to set up like a Young Avengers team, like with Patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little kid becomes like the new Iron Man or Iron Cadet, like one of those, because he has that workshop in his like was his shed still with all that
Yeah.
Iron Man tech.
And then you have like Shuri could be added to any sort of team because she's supposed to. I think she's supposed to be like 16 or 17.
She can be like the big sis of the team.
Yeah, especially because like they could kind of turn Shuri into. I think people have talked about like turning into like kind of what Riri Williams was or isn't
Oh, Blackheart.
or
Ironheart.
Ironheart to get
Ironheart.
to make her kind of like the Iron Man of like a Young Avengers team. Because the only people
Are we still not gonna?
Sorry, what were you gonna say, Ryan?
Oh no, I was gonna like bring up like how we never mentioned Fat Thor yet.
Oh God, Fat Thor.
Oh yeah,
rules.
Fat Thor's great.
Dad bod Thor.
He looked like the big guy from the Warriors 3. Just like
Oh.
as soon as I saw him.
Volstagg, yes.
Yeah,
and then especially
Volstagg.
when he like powered up and then his like beard got braided. I like how they committed to that too. Like it never went away. He was just always Fat Thor.
Yeah, I thought like when he powered up, he was just gonna get thin again. He's just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is how I normally am.
Yeah, but no, like even
Uh,
when in all those different costumes, he's just fat.
And I like the stuff with like Valkyrie becoming
The leader.
the king of like the leader of the Asgardians, and I really hope that like whatever future Asgardian stuff that does happen, it's not just like left on the table for Thor to go basically do Asgardians Galaxy.
But that's the whole thing. Like we have no idea what they're going to do. Like there was no after credits anything. We don't. All we know is like the movies that have been announced.
And I think like and like one of the other things I kind of really hope that they end up doing is like that A-Force movie. Like it's like you have Valkyrie, you have Scarlet Witch, you know, you can introduce like a couple other characters like specifically for the series. So
Yeah. We didn't get any like Fox stuff tie-ins, which a lot of people were hopeful for. The only thing I thought could happen is something with either the FF or maybe Surfer, but we didn't get any of that. I think that the sale happened way too late for them to do anything with that. I also think that they didn't do any after thing because they wanted it to just kind of stand on its own.
Yeah,
This is like a true bookend.
I mean, if I was to put like money on it, like the next big villain that they're building up towards is going to be Doom.
Not Galactic. I don't think they go back to space. So yeah, I think it'd be better to go to a smaller. I also think they're going to divide the universe a little bit based on the movies that have been announced with like the Eternals and stuff. Because I feel like
is anyone here excited for the Eternals?
Only because it's a Marvel thing.
I literally have.
I know very little about them.
Yeah.
So Angelina Jolie's in it. So
I'm gonna be happy when Kang shows up.
Like, I just have always thought of the Eternals as just being like the lame version of Jack Kirby's Fourth World.
Oh, that's exactly what they are. Kang would be interesting, Alan. The only thing that I don't think they play with time again anytime soon. To me, like I think that the space world is going to start going towards maybe like the Annihilation story. I would not be surprised if we get like an announcement for like a Nova movie because we never.
They hinted at Nova.
Yeah, well, the Thanos destroyed Xandar. Like Xandar is gone. So like I could see us finding like a Richard Rider's the last surviving member of Nova. But I don't know. Like, would you guys have any thoughts of where they might go forward from here before we kind of close out?
Well, I was still thinking they were going to do because there was talks about the Living Tribunal, but they didn't want to bring that in because it was like a weird concept to bring it at the very end of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe to deal with Thanos. But there was still some other things because what is it? Adam Warlock was still in that cocoon, so
Yeah,
well, no,
like Adam Warlock's still on the table.
He was made. He was part of the post credits for Guardians 2.
Which took place.
Yeah, he's still in the cocoon.
And that took place in the canon in 2014.
Yeah, something like that. It's like 2014, 2015. The Marvel timeline is like really wonky, which I guess is the other thing we need to talk about is like, I really enjoyed the idea that like they did their 5-year jump and they just brought people back. So like this world that is left has half of the people that have been alive for 5 years in a world that's been completely decimated. Like half of the population was gone. Governments fell apart. People aged. And then the other half of the population just pops in and like nothing happened.
Hey, what a miss, bro.
Yeah, they also said, like, when everyone was gone, like, on the bright side, everything did get better. Like, Thanos was right. Like, the animals, like, repopulated, like, the whales came back, and, like, the harbors.
I think they said he got rid of all of half of, like, life. So it was more like that pollution and stuff, like, got better.
No, Cap was talking to Widow about, like, how the whales were finally back in the Hudson due to, like, low pollution.
It's, like, pollution and less, boat traffic.
Yeah.
So it's just they're changing their patterns. But because we, based on what Peter said, and then also, so like in Peter's world, he is going back to high school with half of the kids would have, or at some way, half the kids would have been in middle school before he left. And then half the kids he was in high school with have graduated and possibly graduated college at this point.
Yeah, that was weird. Like that just so happens that everyone within his friend group or his grade or
we only
everyone who just so happened to be going on their trip to France is like got dusted.
Yeah, well, we
Does
only
this mean that Peter Parker is now Billy Madison?
Well, I'm trying to think. In the trailer, the only kids that we see, it's like him, Mary Jane, his buddy, and Flash, right?
Yeah.
So, because what's her name? That's Vulture's daughter is like not in it.
Yeah, she's gone. It could be they're on like a college like trip, and they just brought Peter with them because he was gone for like 5 years.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I was hoping, but I knew it wasn't going to happen, like, in the Portal sequence when they're showing all the characters, that like, you just see, like, a Daredevil or, like, a Luke Cage in the background.
They can't use them legally.
No, I thought they just didn't use them due to, like, the timeline.
No, there's, like, a whole weird legal ease now that the shows are canceled.
It's still all Disney, though, at that point.
No, they're, like, partially owned by Netflix.
Yeah,
there's, like, a whole wonkiness to it.
Maybe what if they used
they could just use the costumes. They didn't have to like have the same characters.
I forget. There's like a weird contract thing that kind of gets shared about it. Like they can't use the characters and those actors, and like there's very specific things. It's like in a weird space. What were you gonna say, Alan?
I was just gonna.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if they just pulled a Deadpool 2 and had silhouettes or people in the background, like stuntmen, wearing the costumes.
Oh, yeah. I guess they could have done something, but yeah. Did anybody else have any other thoughts on like the MCU in general, or?
Well, like the Defenders thing is like funny because they're like, well, Disney has to pay Netflix like a bunch of money, and it's like, yeah, Disney, the company that made like $1.2 billion 3 days, has to pay a bunch of money to these schmucks over here.
Yeah, that's why I don't think that those shows are totally dead yet. I think it's like with the Fox thing, like stuff is like a little wonky legally wise, and there's really no reason to kind of throw them in right now.
Mhm.
But I guess before we close out, the other thing is like, how does this movie and I guess the overall MCU, how does that make you feel like about other comic book live action stuff that's been going on or that is coming? I know it's like an easy thing to take pop shots at Warner Brothers DC, but it's just like, I don't know, like it's just like so disappointing. Like when you watch this, like this is amazing, and then the other hand, you're just like,
I mean, like, I don't think I've said this in the group yet, but if I was given a chance currently to watch Captain Marvel, Endgame, or Shazam, which are 3 superhero films currently in theaters, because we're totally forgetting about Hellboy for reasons. Like, I honestly probably would pick watching Shazam. Because even though I think Endgame has, like, a lot of really fun moments, it's 3 hours, it has, like, that big kind of middle part that I think is kind of skippable in a lot of ways. And I think like with Shazam, like they have like this really kind of cool new start. Like I still haven't seen Aquaman, but people seem to really like Aquaman.
It was
like
good.
James Gunn doing Suicide Squad seems to be like a really kind of fun like new pitch for that group. I'm very hopeful for Birds of Prey to be good. So it's like I think DC's like definitely has like a good foot going forward.
yes, like you're not wrong. The only difference is like because of what they did before, they're kind of weird. They're in this weird position where they're kind of making everything stand on its own and be very, very tangentially connected at best. So like we will never in the foreseeable future see a Justice League type thing like this Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like we will never see the entire like if you go to like the last couple of episodes of like Justice League Unlimited, like the giant battle like against the dark side, like we won't ever get that. We'd have to wait a decade.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's like we had to wait a very long time to get to the Thanos fight on the same.
But like all the other movies up to that were like all fun. But I mean, like if it's more like they try, it just kind of is like going back to just the missteps, and hopefully DC has turned stuff around. But I really did love Shazam. I have not seen Aquaman either, but I have high hopes for their upcoming movies. It's just like I'm a DC fan more, and it's just like it's so disappointing watching these characters I do love in Marvel, but like I would much more love to see like this would have been with DC would have been so interesting, and I'm just disappointed in retrospect even more at the bullshit we got.
Yeah, well, now that Feige's like free, maybe Warner Brothers will make him an offer.
I don't think he's super free. I think
I haven't heard anything about him being free.
Though they're like apparently there's been like Disney's like going to restructure like kind of their entire company. And I think Feige's going to be kind of named like head of. They're like it's like hard to like they're going to kind of break up the bigger thing into like different like mini heads. So instead of having like a full CEO, because their CEO is leaving, I think next year he said he's retiring, and they're basically I think they're going to make kind of like mini CEOs of all the different areas that they owned.
Like the CEO of Star Wars, the CEO of Marvel.
Marvel, yes. And whatever, like Fox, like maybe like a adult sci-fi thing or something, because they now own Predator and Alien, like that kind of a thing. So I don't know. Is there anything else anybody wanted to add?
So for this timeline on Endgame, would that be during or is it before on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I was just like watching a thing, and I guess the new season that starts up like today is set up after the like a year after the jump.
Okay.
Not, like Thanos is killed and like the first time, and then like they jump 5 years. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is somewhere in there.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like trying to think. Because the season before that was like right as the snap like happened.
I haven't watched in 2 or 3 years.
Okay, because there was a character on that season that could have been was more powerful than Captain Marvel. That could have just helped.
It's
You,
kind of
talking
weird.
about
That,
Robbie?
What was that?
You talking about Robbie?
Can I say it without spoilers? I don't know if Lou
No,
wants
I'm just saying that.
I watched the Ghost Rider season.
No, I'm not talking about Robbie. It was Gravitron.
Okay.
He's I can't say without spoiling anything.
It actually, you kind of remind me, that is of the shows they could have pulled from, they randomly, and I actually loved it, they pulled a character from Peggy Carter's TV show, and he is in Endgame. The guy that is Howard Stark's driver was
Jarvis.
Hey, Jarvis.
Yeah, he's Jarvis in Peggy Carter, and I was so pumped when I saw him.
Yeah, he's the
like,
first like TV guy to be in an MC, like a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. But all right. Any other things anybody wants to touch on before we close out?
I'm good.
All right. Well, we already did our plugs, so.
Oh, I guess it's like rating, like.
Oh, okay.
Like in the span of like where you would put it with like the rest of like the Marvel.
Sure. Do you want to? We can go through. If you brought up the idea, John. Do you want to start?
Yeah, like I don't think it's as good as Infinity War. Like I don't think it's like in like the criticisms I have against that movie, it's nowhere near as bad as Age of Ultron. For an Avengers movie, I think it's like maybe like kind of on par with like the first Avengers movie. Because the first Avengers movie also oddly has like all those like kind of like sit around character moments that are like kind of drag the movie down, but then you also have like the big huge thing at the end that kind of makes you like forget about that. So like I think I'd probably give it like a 7.5, maybe like an 8. And I'm also like a guy who grades on the 5-point scale. Like I use all of it. So it's, you know, it's not like Thor Ragnarok good. It's not Guardians good. But I think it's like kind of like on par with like, you know, Guardians 2. You know, like I really like Ant-Man, so I think it's kind of like on par with that. You know, I put it around like that kind of like area.
So like middle of the pack-ish of the MCU?
Yeah.
Okay, but like the upper middle of the pack.
Yeah,
maybe?
the upper middle.
Okay. I think that's pretty fair. Alan, where would you put it in the kind of MCU ranking?
Probably in the second spot, like if I had to rank it in terms of when it comes to Avengers. Second, in terms of compared to the first, which would be the first Avengers. And overall, of the 22 films, again, 2 or 3 under Iron Man, Avengers, and then Endgame.
Okay. Ryan?
I was thinking about giving it like an 8 or a 7.9, 8.1 around range because it was good. It was just there was some like, you know, as you were saying, like a bulk of the middle was just like it was just there. it was filler. But I'd say I don't know. Maybe it's like I want to say like a 5 in a top 10. First being like maybe Cap, first Avengers, Guardians. I don't know. It's hard to rank like on the spot second like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would definitely kind of in the same realm as you, Ryan. Like, I think I'd maybe go a little bit higher than 8, or like a kind of borderline 8. I think I'd give it like an 8.5. But I would
8.1, yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it more like an 8.5 out of 10. But I would also say like I think it would like be it's very borderline top 5. It's maybe like 6 or 7 for me because I have like Winter Soldier, Civil War, like and Iron Man in my top 3 in some sort of order, and then probably it's like in between the 2 Guardians movies for me. So yeah, that's kind of where I would have it, and like
yeah,
it's kind of like in the mix with the 2 Guardians movies and the first Avengers for me. But all right, I was pretty good. We didn't go too long, and we're still recording. So, is there anything anybody else wants to talk about, or?
No.
All right, so I guess our next movie talk will probably be the next Marvel Disney movie to come out, Dark Phoenix.
I'm actually like I feel like I might be like the only one, but like I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested as it's going to be the last one.
Well, it's like it's.
Hey, let's not forget about
New Mutants.
New Mutants here.
That doesn't count. That's totally different.
I don't know. I will watch. I'm not going to go to the theater watch Dark Phoenix, but I'll watch it at some point. Like hate watch it. Like it's just.
I actually will probably go to the theater and watch Dark Universe or Dark Universe. What am I crazy? I wouldn't go see Dark Universe. I'm talking about Dark Phoenix.
I don't even think I've seen the last 2 X-Men movies. Days of Future and Apocalypse. I think
Days
I
of Future
own them
Past is
both.
good. Apocalypse is very bad.
Yeah,
There's a few good scenes, but yeah.
I do think it's funny that 2 of the stars of Game of Thrones have like these 2 X-Men movies that they made like 4 years ago that they don't even like bother to promote.
Oh,
at
who's in Game of Thrones that's in Dark Phoenix?
Sophie Turner.
Phoenix?
Sansa.
Like Phoenix, Jean Grey.
She's the Phoenix.
She's the Phoenix.
Yeah, she's
I don't watch
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. So.
She's like one of the main characters in Game of Thrones.
It's like the one character I really did like in the few episodes I did watch about Game of Thrones was Arya, and I know that she's playing Rain
Wolfsbane.
Sinclair in New
Yeah.
Mutants.
Yeah, she's playing Wolfsbane. And yeah, Sansa's a character that if you don't like probably for the first half of the series, but
a lot more than that.
Yeah,
I liked her in Sansa. Yeah,
Sansa. Arya is like fan favorite from the jump. No, Sansa's the character you hate in the beginning, and then she's like the huge character arc of the entire show. Like one of the main character arcs, because now
she's like a Batman origin story.
Yeah, she's like one of the best characters in the show now. She's like the baddest bitch. Her and Arya are like the awesomest characters ever, like in that show. All right, well, I think that does it for us. We will catch you guys next time. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
There is no way out of here.